They were just like, we're going to march on through here. We're going to take over.
Mm-hmm.
This is our land now.
Yeah.
After,
This land is our land, no longer.
Britain over there trying to make it everywhere. What's up, guys? Welcome to Blaze
and Squirrel. Episode 2. We've made a second one.
We're coming back. We're going to start off. We're going to answer the last question from the first video, which was, how would you take over an established country? Jordan?
Yes. I actually have an example of this. Because China did the same thing to Hong Kong. Where they started off, they had a dual leadership system, and then slowly Beijing slowly started to tighten around and take a little bit more and more, and there were protests and all that stuff for it. But at that point, Beijing had a little bit. They kind of wrested a little bit more control. People never got complacent about it. They read protests and all kinds of stuff to try to fight it, but it's China.
Right.
So they were able to basically just come in and kind of end up sweeping through. And then you had COVID happen and made it even.
Oh yeah, where everybody was locked down and they were just like, we're gonna march on through here. We're gonna take over. Mm-hmm. This is our land now.
Yeah.
After
this land is our land, no longer.
Britain over there trying to make it everywhere, but anyway.
Well, actually, Britain. Their agreement ended in 1997.
Oh.
It's actually fairly recent.
Yeah.
I was 3 years old when that happened. It was a 99-year lease agreement between China and the United Kingdom. But yeah, it ended then, and then things kind of slowly started. For the longest time, Hong Kong was doing all right, and then more recently, really started kicking in the gear.
After COVID.
Yeah, it was a long-term plan, but it worked.
I hear you. I mean, we see the effects in real life.
Mm-hmm.
How it works. But my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
This is going at it. Big angle here. Big angle. So you start off, you got to make the people living in fear.
Yeah.
All right? Because when the people are in fear, they start listening to orders a little bit better. They're like, oh, okay, if this is going to help it, let's do it. All for it. Instinct,
Yeah.
All right? Then you turn it. After they're in fear, you take away their free thinking. Restrict what they can see. Restrict how the effects of what they're supporting or what they're against is playing out.
Yeah.
And then you make you're shifting the news ever so slightly to where it becomes a point where it's like you don't know what's fake and what's real anymore.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So boom, after that, people are like, well, what's going on here? All right? Then you make the people unable to revolt by making them out of shape, by promoting being obese, being lazy, to change the norm to fit a different standard.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To being dependent on others.
Okay.
All right? And then you make the people reliant on you to take away their power.
Okay.
And that's when you're just like, you're on me, it's my power now.
Okay. Yeah. That would be a way to do it.
Now you would have to work your way up to get to that.
Right.
Both
situations we've mentioned are definitely ones where it's long-term planning.
Oh yes.
And it's not short-term.
No. All right. And then I had a viewer ask, because we got to discussing about generational differences.
Mm-hmm.
So we start off with people that were born in 1920, I want to say, till World War II.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, the silent generation, I believe?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and then we got baby boomers.
Yeah.
Gen X, Gen Y, millennials, and Gen Z. Yours truly. how do you think they vary? Like, what if you were trying to guess somebody's age? Let's like get an establishment here.
Mm.
If you're trying to guess somebody's age group, how would they act in order to make you feel that they're part of the silent generation?
I'd say probably a little bit more like reserved. Like they'll voice a complaint about something, but they're not going to cause a scene about it. Not unless it's something like really, really important to them. But usually, if it's something minor, they're going to be like, they might say something, but they're not going to cause a fuss over it.
Right. All right. Now, what about a baby boomer?
Baby boomer. Well, that's more when you get into like if you voice an opinion they don't agree with, they're going to make a little bit of a fuss. We're like, hey, well, and they're gonna have a little bit of a spiel to give you.
Yeah.
Possibly, you know,
I can see
a
that.
little more. They're a little bit more outspoken.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
And then what's next? Gen X. Gives them away.
Oh man, what year is Gen X? That's like.
It's like 60. Hold on. We'll get it right. $1965
to 1980.
Yes.
Yeah, those are the ones that are really. That's when you get to the more. They're talking about drugs.
Oh yeah.
Hallucinogens.
So they're the big druggies. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That either they did drugs, or if they didn't do drugs, they knew somebody who probably did drugs
And have a crazy story.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's valid.
Uh,
Man, I knew this guy, and he got tripped off on acid.
Yeah.
Like, dude, what?
Yeah, they're more of like the free thinkers, like do your own thing, man, type stuff. You know,
Head your own way, Cheech and Chong type vibe.
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying here?
Yeah.
All right, and then millennials, which would be
Me.
you.
I probably say like, cause when you get to my generation, it's more of
It's like y'all don't care.
yeah, kind of. It's more like we
Screw the world.
we're like, hey, we know it came before us, and so we're kind of like,
We're like, this isn't our fault.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. That's what.
kind of like
It
it's
was
not our
like
fault,
this
but
before we
it's
got
not
here.
Yeah, but hey, we're not gonna try not to make things worse. Of course, you know it didn't work out great. I was like, we're gonna try, but if things do get worse, we did what we could.
So, would you put a lot of the blame for kids like me? Now that we're getting into the Gen Z part,
Yeah.
for kids like me, because I grew up with you get a participation trophy.
Yeah.
Everybody, all your feelings can't get hurt.
That kind of started with my generation a little bit, but
That was like in your later.
yeah.
But do you think that's the fault of boomers, or do you think that's the fault of Gen X?
Well, I think that comes a little bit later. I think that comes from someone who has. I don't even know what generation that would be.
The moms and dads of our generation, they'd be about boomer Gen X.
Yeah. Yeah, because my dad would be he was 68, I think. But he was,
So he's part of the X.
yeah.
That's like my dad.
Yeah, but, like, I never felt like, participation trophy was never really pushed. It was one of those things where if participation trophies happen, they're not going to be.
So do you think it was? Do you think it would be the start of when the Generation Y came around? When the start of your generation?
I think
1981. So which would put those people about having kids around the time where that was raising my.
Yeah, probably yeah. Because I think that's kind of because they would have.
So it is your generation.
Yeah.
Oh.
Possibly, but I'm not sure who in my generation. I don't know if it's just because I was raised, because of the family I was raised in, where it was more of a, hey, you work for what you get. But it's
And that's what should be taught.
There are a lot of millennials that aren't like that.
They want.
Yeah, just gimme. Just gimme.
The handy
I earned this, gimme. He's like, but you didn't do anything, but I'm supposed to get it because I'm here. I
No,
exist. So
no, you're not. You have to be. You only get rewarded for accomplishing something. If you failed, you need to be made fun of.
I don't know about that.
I'm just playing. No. You don't need to be made fun of, but you definitely need to learn if you fail.
Yes, you need to know that there was a lesson to be learned when you fail.
Yes, it's never about, oh, well, I lost. Well, what did you get better at? Did you get to see something that you haven't seen before? Is it a learning experience? Is it bad? Is it good? You got to start processing that.
Right.
So when cell phones came around,
Yeah,
which was around after.
yeah, that's when I was growing.
That's when really cell phones.
Like,
but people, the generations before had the block phones in their car.
The bag phone.
Yeah. All right. So do you think that evolving the cell phone to make it where you can have it anywhere was beneficial to the country, or do you think it was harmful?
It was a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because now you can actually stay in contact with people, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Because if something's happening, if somebody's like, "Hey," you know, like if you're like for work and stuff, if you're on the way, they can call your cell phone. You'll be like, "Hey, there's something going on," so you can get updates on the fly on stuff when you need it.
Yeah.
But it's harmful in the fact of
now everybody expects you to.
It's called now you have this thing called fear of missing out, where if you don't have the information, you're wigging out about it. It's like I need to know, and you have access to all that information at your fingertips. So if you lose that, you don't know what to do because you don't have the information anymore.
Well, I mean, that's fair. I just was like, people become reliant on it is the problem.
Yeah. Becoming too reliant. Relying on it when you can is good, but you need to know how to work without it.
Yes, because if you cannot live without your phone, that's an addiction.
Yeah.
Get some help. But do you think, okay, besides the fact that you're in contact all the time, because you used to have pay phones.
Yeah.
All right, now they're going away.
Yeah.
Because, like, oh, somebody's got a cell phone.
Yeah.
We don't need this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But if they were to bring it back, do you think that it could be a functioning thing again? Because we also have to think long term.
Yeah.
Because if we're in Ukraine, what if the cell phone towers get out? Like, they get put out.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we're tired of America being over in European countries. And they're like, wipe out their cell phone.
Mm-hmm. Well, anybody will. It would depend on how they take. Because if they just take out the antenna towers, you're gonna knock down a lot more than just phones. But
it's gonna be telephones. It's gonna be internet. It's gonna be everything.
Well, it's gonna be mainly internet and stuff. But anything that's wired, if they don't take down like actual instead of wired communication. Now, if they take down like cell phone towers and stuff, then that'll knock out those. But if they pretty much leave like normal telephone lines, the normal stuff that's been standing since forever, it's like since telegraphs, just about upgrades. The infrastructure has been there and been built upon. But stuff is
there's a thing that's like if the electric grid was wiped out from all across America, it would take a good solid 6 months for it to be restored because of how old our power grid is.
Yeah, I never said that the old anything was upgraded. It was built upon, but they never upgraded the infrastructure.
That's kind of scary because what do you think the people would do?
Oh, mass pandemonium and panic. There was a power outage somewhere.
We gonna go back
west.
to stealing?
Well, there was a power outage somewhere out west, and people were calling the police and being like, "Hey, there are these weird lights in the sky." It was the Milky Way galaxy, an arm of the Milky Way.
That's crazy, bro. That is crazy.
Of the night sky that's been there for millions of years, and people had no idea what it was because they'd never seen it before.
Going with the cell phones. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. All right. So, my opinion. Cell phones have also reduced our social skills.
Oh, yes.
And definitely your memory. I got something pulled up here. It changes your cognitive ability, and that is from, what does it say? UNC Health. That's University of North Carolina. So, and it says that it changes your cognitive ability, or your problems with social or emotional skills, and even problems sleeping.
Yeah.
So I feel that
because
that's being addicted to it.
Yeah, well, not only that, but excessive use of a phone, it actually lets out blue light, which is highly energetic, and that's what disrupts your sleep.
Yes, and I mean, I get like you said, it's the best thing about it is that you always have the information.
Mm-hmm. But it's also the worst thing about it because you always have the information.
Yeah, some things don't need to be known, man.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
But yeah, that and because it talks like for the social skills, because some people all they know is text language type stuff. They don't know how to actually interact with people because they rarely interact with people. Like
there's nothing worse than someone saying LOL in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Or LMAO. What?
It's like
laugh.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
You have an organ that literally allows you to go, ha ha ha.
Exactly.
you have bodily functions for this. Why are you expressing it in like
words?
3-letter
No, words? It's not worth it. Stop. It's not needed.
Like have an actual conversation, or even like when you're actually having a conversation with somebody and they don't know how to, like they're just like, all right, and then they just end the conversation, like walk off somewhere, like bringing the conversation to a close. Yeah. It's not like a text where you just
boop. Yeah, no. Now, going based off that, do you think it was a better time when the internet was like a dedicated place in the house? You didn't have it on you all the time. Like you went to the desktop, you wanted to play Club Penguin or Nitro Type or whatever it is. League of Legends, Wizard 101, Minecraft, whatever. Mm-hmm. But do you think it was better?
I think it was better in some ways, because I do think that it was better that one, you didn't just type things in a search engine. You actually had places where you go where you knew how to find the information. Because nowadays you have the internet and people will just type stuff in and go with the first thing they see.
Yes, and back then you actually had to look at the books and pull out the Dewey Decimal System and look it up.
I've actually had people tell me, like they'll come over at work or something, and I'll look through the manual. I'll flip to the back and go through the index.
And then what? You know how to use an index? Yes, it's a book.
That's how that works.
How you find information in a book.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this keyword here is on this page. Let's go to this page because that's what I'm looking for.
Exactly.
It's the analog version of what the computer does.
Now that we're progressing very far with computers, we have AI and virtual reality.
Yeah.
Do you think that there could be some problems to come with AI, because there is I know there's a coffee shop that started using AI robots as their baristas, and now they're asking for tips.
Okay,
So do you think AI is gonna get to a point where it's like we might need to stop?
Well, AI is only ever going to be as good as we can make it, because they have had AI try to write code, and it works great for a little bit, and then it starts to fall apart because it doesn't know how to continue that and have it actually make sense. It just starts falling apart, and it will mess itself up rather than help itself.
Well, at a certain point, if you keep advancing it, it'll be a point where it'll fix itself.
Well, I think it's good. I think because right now our big thing is that AI, the way it is, and I think the way we humans are, is we're not going to make a one-size-fits-all AI. Because it's like, who wants to put the kind of work into, I need this thing done. Let me just, boop. So let's make an AI for this. Like, let's make an AI that controls the lights and stuff in my house.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have a different AI that runs my car, and that can communicate with my house. But that's because that's the way we humans are. Like, we like having things specific. Whenever we need a specific tool, we make it for that job. and we have some things that can do multiple things.
But then you got people that want to take it to the absolute max.
They they just want to turn it into iRobot.
Like, because you have these, you have the dating ones. Like, why do we need the dating ones? You can't go out and find a normal interaction. Like, what is this?
For that one, like, if someone needs a little bit of, like, just somebody to talk to, and they feel like, there's stuff that they can kind of talk about that they can't really talk about with anybody else, I think it can be a useful tool. But it comes to the point where if you take it too far, like, humans are going to be the ones that take it too far, not AI. Because we're the ones that are creating.
Yes, exactly. But, I mean, what if the human creates a good AI, like we saw in, like, I know it's a fantasy, but it could be a reality. Age of Ultron. He was there for, like, 10 minutes, and he's like, people gotta die. That's evil. That's straight evil.
Well, my thing is, like, you have to think, what is it programmed for? Because that means that Tony Stark programmed Ultron to be able to recognize good and evil.
What happens if it was just a code to solve problems at a large scale, not just mathematical problems, scientific problems, homework, whatever, but it was it just recognized that the problem with the entire world was that the people had to die, because he didn't differentiate.
Yeah. Well,
there was no part that he said the bad people have to die. It was just, y'all gotta die.
Yeah.
Slaughter.
Just everybody. I don't know, because I don't know that we as humans are ever going to get that far with it. Simply based on thing, because it would take, because what it would take to get that far.
Well, there's a guy that's built Jarvis. He has a hollow table. Those are thing. And the hollow table, he could just pinch and he's sliding, and it has Jarvis, and he's telling him what to do. He's designing all these things. Pretty cool.
But again, you also think, because they also have, like, graphic AI and stuff, and it doesn't know how, because there are some that look great, like, they have beautiful pictures, they come up with stuff, but if you look, you can see the parts where they don't quite understand how things are supposed to look, or they don't, like, there's always going to be a shortcoming with the AI, because it's trying to go, because at the end of the day, all AI can work with are numbers. It runs off of ones and zeros, and that's all it is going to be able to comprehend. Huh?
Bit code.
Yeah. That's really all the AI is ever really going to understand. So, and you have to put more ones and zeros on top of the ones and zeros for it to be able to grasp what's going on.
Yeah, that's fair. You have to be, like, more and more specific, and it would just be too much.
Yeah.
Overloaded at some point.
Which is why to be able to actually run an AI system that works the way they have in, like, fantasy, you would have to have an absolutely massive computer. Like, it has to be insanely large. You would have to have
it'd have to be
computer.
Well, I mean, like, it's like our coworker. He's like got the slots. He's got the more storage, so he can do a lot more messing around with AI.
Yeah.
It's a little scary, man.
Yeah.
But switching.
Yeah.
Do you think that yoga, alright, so I was just talking, and I got brought up to me that is yoga for Hinduism, or is it, in my opinion, it's better for core and balance. Now, biblically, I don't know what it is for. It could be for Hinduism. I actually believe that it might be.
Yeah, well, a lot of the stuff like that, like, it comes from a place like that where it probably started off as some kind of worship of some kind, but then, when we saw that, hey, there's actually some real benefits to this. Where like if you practice yoga and you do it properly, it can help with your muscles. It can help with your like you said, balance. Like it can help you, and it's great for like especially if someone who has anger problems. They take yoga. It can help them find a way to
peace. Tai Chi even.
Yeah.
Tai Chi is all about the stress relief.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it very much, because I don't even know,
I want to say it comes from India.
Yeah, I think so. Yoga, yep, in India, you are correct. Thousands of years, its precise origins are somewhat obscure as yoga has evolved over time. Through various traditions, philosophies, and practices, the earliest evidence of yoga can be found in ancient texts called the Vedas, which are one of the oldest sacred texts of Hinduism. Yeah, so it did start out with like Hinduism and stuff.
But it helps with like breathing, core strength.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that yes, it's kind of like how like some Christmas traditions started. You know, it's one of those things of where some traditions that have existed they come from different places, but they come to have like a new meaning and have a different function.
That's fair.
Than what they used to. And I think that happens with any system. And yoga has done that.
Going with like a changing of meaning.
Yeah.
Do you think that we should change back to botanical medicine?
Well, botanical medicine.
I don't even think it's pronounced botanical.
I think it's either botanical or
botanical. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, cool. Botanical. It never really stopped. Because a lot of
in the shadows, I'd say. Because Big Pharma, they want that cash, that cold hard cash.
Do you know what most of the stuff Big Pharma uses started out as?
Do what?
Yeah, a lot of the stuff Big Pharma uses and sells started out botanical.
Well, yeah.
And they found some ways to synthesize some of it, but
at
they
a certain
still
point,
use plants.
Well, they have to condense.
Yeah. There's still a botanical basis.
Yes, but on the other side, now we're getting to a point that antibiotics are going to not be useful.
Well, that's because, organisms like bacteria, viruses, they evolve. They change.
Exactly.
And that wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter if you're using a botanical process or a synthetic one. They're going to find some way to resist. And then you have to change how you're doing it and what you're doing it and find out what works to change that. Because if you end up finding a plant that has evolved in a way to help fight whatever, if it's something that it would normally be afflicted with, but it found a way to fight it off,
right,
and you can find a way to use that, then hey, you've got your upgrade provided by nature. But if not, you have to find a way to synthesize something different that can fight.
Do you think that you could just, over the course of years, switch back and forth? Because then it'll go from knowing how to fight the medicine, synthesize, and then it would get fought off with the botanical again.
Possibly. It's definitely something where there are botanical methods, but usually if something botanical works, somebody snatches it up and it becomes, medicine. So
I think we need to go back to sages and oils and all that stuff.
I definitely think there are some benefits to some stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
There are some people that have way too much emphasis on it. Like
yeah.
One of the dumbest thing I ever heard were the salt lamps. Like, oh, it does this. It provides like negative neurons. Like, no, it doesn't produce any of that.
No.
It actually, it's actually not beneficial at all. Like, it does absolutely nothing for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Scientific tests have proven that bit. I actually watched.
Now, does that go along with like the crystals too? Do they do anything for you? Put any energies off for you?
No, I've got a crystal lamp. I think it's really cool, but
it doesn't give you like confidence. Like this is the Wizard of Oz or something.
It makes for a great light, so if I have to get up and use the bathroom, I've got a light that I can walk by.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's great for that. And I like having it on because it's a nice orange light, a low orange light, which doesn't mess up with my doesn't mess with my night vision, and
right.
It's useful, but it's not giving me any sort of healing properties or anything like that. That crystal is doing absolutely nothing. It is just diffusing light.
That is fair. I
But
would
it is
agree with
really
that.
cool.
I would agree with that. I don't think they do that. No.
Yeah. Like, no, they're no. Now it can be calming. Like if it's something like
Your pet.
because some people just stroke the rock. It's okay.
This is my pet rock. His name is James.
No, but no, because it's a really cool lamp. I really like the lamp. I usually have it on just about every night, but I'm not expecting it to suddenly heal me.
No.
And and it can be kind of soothing. Sometimes if you sit, it's like staring into a fire. Just something about like staring into something that has that kind of glow. Sometimes it can just.
It's calming.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna have magical healing from it. That's not gonna happen.
Luck or anything like that. No.
It's not going to increase.
All right, so we're gonna end.
Anything. So.
We're gonna end on another question. We're gonna come back next time. We're gonna answer it. It's how to turn our country back to being self-sufficient. If there's any ideas that you have, leave them in the comments. Drop a like, subscribe, follow us for this journey. We're gonna do this.
Yeah.
We're gonna make it.
Definitely more videos to come. We're gonna try to post shorts when we can. Give you some sneak peeks, some previews, because our previews actually do really well. Like the analytics on them, we had a couple of them that did absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So hey, if we come up with something, if there's anything crazy or stupid that happened in this video, because I know we just did it, but like I can't remember anything hardly. Oh, I feel like Simon Whistler. I don't know if you've ever seen any of his videos. It's like into the eyes, out to the mouth.
That's essentially, yeah.
It skips the brain entirely, and it's not until you watch it later. Oh yeah, that's what we talked about.
Right.
I think you had that happen last time. I think it was like.
Yeah, I was like, we were just flowing. We were going.
Yeah, but yes, do subscribe, tell your friends, and again, feel free to also tell your enemies.
And if you have any ideas for what we need to talk about next, let us know.
There are comments.
We'd love to hear from you.
Below, somewhere down there. I know I responded to a couple of comments, but yeah, you might find one of us hopping on, responding to a comment. And hey, if any of you prefer a specific comment, if it's a really popular comment or really popular question, you can like the comments too, and that shows up for us. We can actually see that. So, let us know.
Keep the support going.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Thank you for showing up. This has been Squirrel
and Blaze.
Peace out.